Alright, well, let's get to the one person that's in there. What the fuck is good? Damn, dude, you ain't got shit else better to do all day? Super Dave, what's good? How you feeling, dude? Oh, you gonna learn today. Spade, what's good with you, oh boy? How you feeling? That shit's still funny to me. Going to work soon? No, bro, shit. You get that paper, son. Look it. I ain't paying your bills. And ain't nobody else on here paying your bills either. Do what you need to do. Excuse me. Damn. Fucking damn. Where the fuck? Damn. I can't complain. You exciting me? How? In what way? Just drop that fucking lighter. Quick puff and I'm out with this bitch. You didn't have to call it bitch, but it is what it is. You have a sexy voice. Okay, whatever. You have 80 subs. And you speak French. Super Dave, you be the dude. Have a good one. Let's see what they talking about.
All systems green. Synchronization.
We skipping the ads.
Hi, I'm Phil. Thanks so much for joining us today for the first Stadia Connect. This series gives you a look at Stadia news, events, new titles, bonus features, and more. We'll be posting these Stadia Connect videos from time to time to bring you the latest from Google straight to all of you, the players. We've got a bunch of exciting news to share with you today, so let's get started. 3 months ago, we gave you a first look at Stadia, a new generation game platform powered by the best of Google. Today, we're going to tell you about the first wave of games available at launch.
There we go.
We'll share pricing details, including an exclusive launch offer, and you'll learn how to become one of the first Stadia players. Stadia has been years in the making across different Google teams. Google's mission has always been to make information more accessible for everyone. With Stadia, our goal is to make gaming more accessible for everyone too. We designed Stadia to bring together game players and game watchers from around the world into one global community of gamers. And Stadia makes it easy to play your favorite games on any screen in your life. At launch later this year, you'll be able to play Stadia games on your TV, desktop, laptop, tablet, and on Pixel smartphones, starting with Pixel 3, as well as the brand new Pixel 3a that we announced last month. Wherever you are, Stadia lets you play the latest games. No downloads, no patches, no installs.
Cheers.
Just grab your controller and you're in. This level of access and availability represents a huge shift in the gaming world.
Now, I know
Instead of a
E3 is
console
not
or
till
PC,
next week,
you're
next
using
Tuesday,
Google's
I
data
believe.
center as the platform.
But this
We
is like
handle
some
the
early
intense
release
gameplay
shit.
processing and graphics, so there's no console required to play your favorite games. That's what Stadia is all about, the games. Today, we're unveiling the very first wave of games coming to the platform at launch. We're working with hundreds of leading publishers and developers around the world to deliver their biggest and best titles to Stadia. We've lined up an incredible selection of games spanning nearly every genre, including fighting, sport, role-playing games, first-person action, and racing titles. And we're just getting started. This worldwide exclusive unveil comes straight from our friends at Larian Studios.
still what it do? I'm just fucking around with the fuck around. E3 is next week, and I'm just looking at a little preview of it and shit.
So Larian is a company where we try to give everybody a lot of freedom because we want them to come with their IDs. Thanks, man. Forget it. My name is Sven Dinke. I am the founder and director of Larian Studios. So Larian Studios was founded in '97 in Ghent in Belgium. I've seen the entire evolution of the games industry. We keep on driving the state-of-the-art forward so fast. You don't have that in music, you don't have it in movies. But in video games you have it, and Stadia is like the next leap. I mean, it is quite revolutionary. Larian Studios was founded to be able to create big epic RPGs in which the world reacts to what you're doing, in which you could play together with your friends. When we released Divinity Original Sin 1, I tried approaching Wizards of the Coast, trying to tell them that we should be the ones making Baldur's Gate 3. They didn't necessarily believe me back then, but then we started making Divinity Original Sin 2, and then at some point they just reached out to me and they said, well, you're the guy that wanted to make Baldur's Gate 3. Do you still want to make Baldur's Gate 3? I said, yeah, of course I still want to make Baldur's Gate 3. And that got the conversation rolling, and before you knew it...
And this is a game I probably never gonna play.
Baldur's Gate 3 is the biggest game that we've ever done. We had to triple the size of the studio to be able to do it. Production values are very, very, very high. But the game deserves it. I mean, it's people have been waiting on it for a very long time, so it deserves to be top-notch in every single aspect. And it's shaping up to be a beautiful game. But the coolest thing about it all is that by bringing it to Stadia, pretty much everybody is going to be able to play it at the highest quality settings, because Stadia is democratic in that sense, if you want. It doesn't differentiate between what platform you're playing it on, because everything is...
Google is trying to do some shit.
We can't wait for you to play Baldur's Gate 3 on Stadia. And whether you're playing an RPG like Baldur's Gate 3 or any of the other titles and genres we'll share today, we know that players demand the most responsive experiences from their games. And we have architected Stadia to give you the fastest possible response between what your fingers are doing and what your eyes are seeing. So, what does that mean for the internet connection you're on right now? Let's quickly dig into the numbers. Our highest quality gaming experience is remarkable, with 4K HDR video at 60 frames per second and 5.1 surround sound. We're able to deliver this experience to users with a connection speed of around 35 megabits per second. And with Google handling the processing load, you can enjoy smooth gameplay even if you don't have that kind of connection. So let's say you have a connection speed of just 10 megabits per second. You can still get at least 720p video at 60 frames per second with stereo sound. We're really proud of the experience we're able to deliver, and it's all thanks to more than 20 years of work at Google, building and optimizing our networks and data centers to support services with billions of users like YouTube, Gmail, Android, Google Play, Maps, and of course Google Search. The latency and speed demands of online gaming aren't far off from the demands we've been meeting for years.
I don't know.
Back end so you can play the games you want when you want on whatever screen you prefer. Back in October of 2018, we put this idea to the test with Project Stream. We invited users to stream Assassin's Creed Odyssey at up to 1080p and 60 frames per second. It was a phenomenal gaming experience on a wide range of PCs and laptops that were simply running a Chrome browser. With Project Stream, we demonstrated that we can transmit the live instance from the data center to your screen faster than your eye is transmitting those images to your brain. That's critical for fast-paced games on Stadia, like Mortal Kombat. It's truly a new paradigm for gaming. And since we announced Stadia a few months ago, we've gotten a lot of interest about this new way to play. In our conversations and meetups with game developers, they're excited about the possibilities of an ever-evolving play experience. And we can't wait to get Stadia in the hands of gamers later this year. So let's share some more details about the platform and what you'll need to get started at launch. You'll get the best experience playing with our new Stadia controller. It's designed specifically for streaming games, and it includes a capture button for your game footage and a button to access the Google Assistant. Of course, you can also play Stadia games with any supported game controller or with a mouse and keyboard. The only other thing
I don't know.
is a screen to play on. Want to play on the HD TV in your living room? Just plug in a Chromecast Ultra. If you'd rather play on your laptop, desktop, or tablet, open a Chrome browser window. Our vision is for Stadia to run on any screen that runs Chrome, or you can use the Stadia app on your Pixel 3. We'll be expanding to more screens down the line too, including more smartphones. When you're ready to play, the Stadia controller connects directly to your game running in the Google Data Center. That direct connection is key to providing the highest possible performance and the best streaming experience. We have so many more details on the Stadia controller, which you can find at stadia.com. We're also a tweet away at Google Stadia to answer all your questions. We're very excited to introduce you to a number of new titles coming to Stadia at launch. Let's take a look.
I'm a wolf, raised to be the alpha, a track to follow. Alas, the beast can't be tamed that easily. This wild territory is the perfect den for my kind. A free world where I can roam and explore with no end. But I came here on the hunt, hidden among sheep, focused on their superficial dreams, moving up the food chain step by step before I dominate them all. One target always clear within my sights. To secure the future with technology others developed, but were too fearful to deploy. By tooth and claw, I took this island, and by tooth and claw, I will rule it. The wolf knows when a predator nears. Can a ghost take on the lone wolf? Maybe. Tracking, analyzing, stalking, patiently, tirelessly. But there is no place for the weak and the wounded here. We are wolves. Stand by.
Okay.
Standing by. In position. 3, 2, 1.
Looks pretty interesting. I'm already to check out on this one. It's not my kind of hype. Looks like a whole lot of RPGs. Not that there's nothing wrong with RPGs, but Bitch, what's good? This is the Google game system. I'm just checking it out.
So Tom Clancy's The Division 2 happened 7 months after a deadly pandemic that started in New York, spread not only across the nation, but also across the world. And you, as an agent of the Strategic Homeland Division,
Yeah, I'm just checking out the little preview shit.
and save the country. So one of the major challenges is to take an RPG and to create a
But
fast-paced action.
from what I'm saying, this is like a lot of RPG shit.
The first game, and we improved on that. And what we have today, I think, is the best power-based shooter RPG out there. One of the real benefits of choosing Washington, D.C. for the second game is that we have all of these amazing, iconic buildings. The White House, the Capitol, we have the Air and Space Museum, we have the Lincoln Memorial, and of course, there's even a control point at the base of the Washington Monument.
Stadia means that you can play your game anywhere.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do something.
Collaboration.
Whoa, I was signed out. For what? I'm just watching a fucking video. Did they kick me off of the... Let me see if they kicked me off the shit. Totally. Yeah, they kicked me off the shit totally. No, they didn't. I'm still on mine. The fuck was I watching?
What's that?
It's your book of scary stories.
With Google has been really awesome. They're very open.
Do you think, dude?
Company.
I ain't gonna be here that long. I'm just
And they know infrastructure.
fucking around with the fuck around.
Powerful, visually appealing experience. All Stadia.
If I make it an hour, I'm lucky.
The exciting part about partnering with Google is that they really have the bandwidth and just the physical infrastructure to pull something like this off. Bringing the Division 2 to Stadia has been a learning experience, an immensely thrilling journey. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can do in the future. That
That's a look at just some of the amazing titles we're bringing to you at launch. And now, here to tell you about Stadia's pricing and
Nah, I know
is my friend and
I'm on
colleague,
PlayStation showing somebody
We're
else's
launching
shit.
Stadia with a
It
diverse
probably
list
ain't
of
gonna
games
work.
from lots of genres and world-class game publishers. There's truly something for everyone. With Stadia, you can put your money toward the things that really matter. The latest, greatest game experiences that you can play anywhere. To unlock these experiences, we're offering a premium subscription for our Stadia players. Introducing Stadia Pro. It delivers the best of Stadia for just $9.99 per month. Stadia Pro gives you regular content that we add to your library for being a Stadia Pro member at our highest streaming quality. 4K, HDR, 60 frames per second, with 5.1 surround sound. And we're going a step further to celebrate players who want to be the first playing on Stadia. We know there's a passionate world of players out there who want bigger, better, more accessible gaming experiences. After announcing Stadia, we've heard from so many gamers who share our excitement. For those fans, we've created a custom, limited edition set of exclusive features and content. We call it the Stadia Founders Edition, and you can pre-order it starting today. The Founders Edition includes everything you need to get started with Stadia, and you'll have the first access to Stadia when it launches later this year. We want to make sure your games look great on the biggest screen in your home, so the Founders Edition comes with a Chromecast Ultra for streaming it up to 4K HDR at 60 frames per second directly to your TV. You'll also receive a limited edition Night Blue Stadia controller, as well as 3 months of Stadia Pro. And we know gaming is more fun with a friend. The Founders Edition comes with a 3-month Buddy Pass, so you can gift Stadia Pro access to a friend or family member. You can also pick up an additional Stadia controller for $69. It comes in clearly white, just black, and wasabi. And here's the best part about the Founders Edition. You'll be among the first players to secure your exclusive Stadia name. So you'll get the Stadia name you want and the bragging rights that go along with it. So you're getting a Chromecast Ultra, the limited edition Night Blue Stadia controller, 3 months of Stadia Pro for you and a friend, and you'll be among the first players to select a Stadia name. It's all in the Stadia Founders Edition, and it's coming to these 14 countries. And we're working hard to expand Stadia to additional countries in 2020 and beyond. We do have one more surprise. Gamers who buy the Stadia Founders Edition will get the complete Destiny 2 experience as part of Stadia Pro.
Destiny's trash. Sorry, buddy. You ain't hooking me with that one.
Destiny's about being super powerful heroes set loose in a really beautiful world.
The first time I fired my super, I was like screaming, "Oh, I'm so badass right now!" I've been playing games for 30
Destiny
years.
2 was trash.
Destiny is about playing with your friends.
My best moment
Fox was good.
Other players. The first time I beat multiple class, I know who was there with me. That just makes me feel so much more rich.
Right now they're just talking about the new Google system.
Bring our games to our players. We are now our own publisher. Did you know this?
I'm guessing they probably would, and yeah, streaming.
Something that's
I'm guessing they probably would.
Our push now is to remove all the barriers that we have to playing Destiny. Whenever, wherever, with whomever you want.
That shit was trash.
All our planets, all our blocker strikes, all the competitive modes, Gambit, Raze, it's all there for players to jump in.
Shadowkeep is the next chapter in the Destiny story.
It's a pretty haunting tale. There are these nightmares that are walking the moon. You're going to have to find a way to conquer these nightmares and face your fears.
We have a lot to do with this. We're not done yet.
we now are in control of our own destiny.
The game server, yeah.
We have an incredible community. And the Stadia
This is Google's attempt at a
for players to come in and play with their friends from around the world.
at a gaming system. Ooh.
Always brings us back to the past. Can you feel them? I can still hear their voices. Their endless torment we share. escapes our moon. Nightmares now stalk the surface. Walking shadows, seeking vengeance. Our old fears, they rise again. And in the dark below, something wicked has awakened. We must bring an end to this suffering. One way or another.
The fucking game was trash.
A big thank you to our friends at Bungie for partnering with us to bring the full Destiny 2 experience to Stadia. The base game, all previous add-ons, the newest expansion, and the annual pass. They're all included in your Stadia Pro subscription. And as an added bonus, you'll be able to transfer your Destiny Guardian to Stadia from any other platforms. To recap, the Stadia Founders Edition comes with limited edition Night Blue controller, Chromecast Ultra, 3 months of Stadia Pro, the full Destiny 2 experience, first dibs on your Stadia name, and a buddy pass to give Stadia Pro to a friend for 3 months. Good luck deciding who you're going to give it to. When you add everything up, that's almost $300 of value. And you'll get it all with the Founders Edition for just $129, which you can pre-order now. We're excited to offer the Founders Edition to gamers around the world.
Okay, for 129 bucks, alright, I can rock with that.
So don't wait too long to pre-order. If you don't want the Founders Edition or Stadia Pro, you can still buy and play Stadia games without a subscription. Simply buy the games you want when you want them. We call this Stadia Base. And any games you purchase, they're yours to play whenever you want. So whether you're ready to go all in with the Founders Edition bundle, or if you prefer Stadia Base,
you kind of do want to punch this dude in the forehead.
Alright, let's bring Phil back for a few
Because, I mean, this is a big-ass target.
Thanks for tuning in to this first look at some of our most exciting launch titles, pricing details, and how to access Stadia right at launch. You can get more details and info at stadia.com/FAQ, or you can find it in the description here. Or tweet us at Google Stadia. We'll have much more to come soon, including additional...
You kind of want to kick this dude in the nuts. Like,
thanks for watching.
Get a running start and kick that dude in the nuts.
For yourself. And with that, we're excited to show you one last collection of games.
Listen up already!
About y'all, but I don't see nothing that makes me want to buy this. Yeah, it's completely streaming. It's completely streaming. No disc. Now, here's the thing. Suppose you have a fucking storm and your internet goes out. You ass the fuck out. Hell, at least I mean internet go out on this shit. At least I got something to play. But I mean it's in and for $129. I mean maybe I mean it can't. It's not that bad. Alright, this is what y'all got to choose from. It's only 10 people streaming, including myself. I'm probably gonna get off. I'm gonna get up off here in a few minutes. But I'm just trying to, look up little shit about the next gen systems that's coming out. Black Mirror Backfire. Oh damn. Black Mirror and Modern Twilight Zone. Well, you do know they have a new Twilight Zone out there, right? It's on CBS All Access. the fuck are you here? Just shits and giggles. The hell are you doing here?
When water evaporates, it absorbs solar radiation. When water condenses, it releases all that energy into the atmosphere. And this transfer of heat helps to moderate conditions on Earth.
Earth's water stores as much as 80% of the sun's heat, helping keep our temperatures steady from the equator to the poles. Scientists theorize that Titan might have water or some other liquid that might produce a similar effect. And in 2004, when NASA's Cassini probe visited Saturn, it found some pretty good evidence to support that idea.
If you went to Titan and you were looking at the landscape, you would see something that in some ways would look almost familiar to you. You might see big mountains and valleys that were carved out by running liquids.
In fact, as Cassini fled past hazy Titan, its radar read the glow. Scientists saw channels cutting across the surface, much like rivers on Earth do. Some as long as 900 miles. The first strong evidence of liquid on Titan.
There are large bodies of liquid on the surface of Titan. Nowhere else in the solar system except for the Earth are there any large bodies of liquid.
Could water, the liquid that carves Earth's mountains and valleys, also be carving these features on Titan's surface? Or could it be something else? The problem is that Titan is too far away from the sun. If it was water, it would be frozen solid.
It's about -300 Fahrenheit on Titan, so things behave very differently on Titan than on Earth. Because it's so cold, methane, which is a gas on Earth, is a liquid on Titan.
One mystery solved. But just because methane is a liquid on Titan's surface doesn't mean it's part of a weather cycle like water on Earth. So how do we know that this methane also falls from Titan's sky? That answer is shrouded in mystery. Literally.
Titan is completely covered in a thick haze of smoke particles. Like a very, very bad day in Los Angeles.
Despite the haze, the Cassini probe once again revealed the answer.
We can see the upper clouds, and we can see evidence for rainfall because the clouds drop very precipitously. We hypothesize that we're seeing the effects of rainfall.
Methane rainfall.
We think that Titan has methane monsoons, so we think that sometimes Titan has a lot of rain that is able to
cause planets that have aluminum storms.
Large fluvial deposits on the surface.
Cassini's radar imaging also revealed large methane seas on Titan's surface.
If you have liquid methane on the surface, on a lake for example, that methane can evaporate off and become methane gas in the atmosphere. So you have kind of a cycling of methane between liquid phase and gaseous phase and between the surface and the atmosphere. That's very similar to the water cycle that occurs on the Earth.
But methane is a flammable gas. So why isn't Titan on fire?
For any combustion, you need two things. You need both a fuel, which methane is, but you also need oxygen. And on Titan, you lack the oxygen. So the whole thing is basically a big fuel canister, but there's no oxygen with which to burn it, and so it's all very stable.
If it were cold enough here on Earth to produce methane rain,
basically the planet smells like a fart.
The oxygen in our atmosphere would create a worldwide firestorm. Luckily for us, that can't happen. Titan's methane cycle makes it both alien and familiar to us.
To me, Titan is very exciting because all the materials are so different, and yet this process produce very similar landscapes to what we see on Earth.
Titan proves that where alien weather is concerned, looks can be deceiving. On Jupiter, it's all about size. Drop the Great Red Spot onto our world, and it makes even our worst hurricanes look like a breeze. This is the biggest and oldest storm in the solar system. And Jupiter's most famous feature.
Yeah, they're always born on purpose.
The Great Red Spot.
It's about 2 or 3 times the size of the Earth, which makes it the mother of all storms.
We've known about the Great Red Spot in Jupiter's southern hemisphere for more than 300 years.
We learn today.
Telescope that for years,
one of the two
had seen the Great Red Spot, and it's still there.
Familiar yet mysterious. Nobody knows how the Great Red Spot formed. But scientists are finally probing below Jupiter's cloud tops to uncover more about this enormous alien storm. The storm is powerful. With wind speeds of 300 miles per hour, it rises miles above the surrounding clouds. On Earth, we have storms that seem similar, though smaller and milder. Hurricanes, also known as cyclones or typhoons, depending on where they form. They're our most destructive weather systems. But is there more than just a passing resemblance between Earth's cyclones and Jupiter's red spot?
When you look at the Earth from space at a hurricane, it's this big swirling pattern. It's round, it rotates. Jupiter's big storms look big and round and cloudy and they rotate. But where the similarity ends.
In a hurricane, there is an internal core, which is called the eye of the tropical cyclone. And that's a region of very calm winds and no clouds. And usually has a size of about 10-20 kilometers in diameter. And then away from the eye, there is the eye wall. Those are really cloudy regions with a lot of rain. And as you move outward, there is a whole region of about a couple of 100 kilometers with very, very strong winds and very strong rain.
Hurricanes draw power from heat in our oceans. But Jupiter has no oceans. And the sun isn't close enough to power a storm as big as the Great Red Spot. So where does it get its strength? Part of the answer is Jupiter's size. It's the largest planet in the solar system, almost as big as all the other planets combined. This mass generates a very strong gravitational pull, which in turn creates interior heat that rises to the surface. Another piece of the puzzle may be Jupiter's hypersonic rotation. Despite being much larger than Earth, Jupiter's day lasts only 10 hours. In other words, it spins incredibly fast. Could energy from this dizzying spin feed the Great Red Spot?
The weather is really dominated by this fast spin. There's shearing between different latitudes, and that shearing plus a lot of heat that comes up from the interior of this very massive object, 290 times the mass of the Earth, leads to very...
Boosie Jones. Bye, Rivio.
Who's in Los Angeles. And so if I threw the ball in that direction, the Earth rotates and the ball will end up in the middle of the Pacific rather than in Los Angeles. So it's like if the trajectory was deflected to its right. And that's what we call the Coriolis force.
This force spins storms clockwise in our southern hemisphere. But there is a stark difference between Earth and Jupiter. The Great Red Spot is in Jupiter's southern hemisphere, and yet it spins counterclockwise. This is because of some other powerful winds.
It's bounded by jets which are moving in opposite directions. And so like a cog between two conveyor belts, they're just feeding energy and momentum into the system.
Jupiter's complex jet streams spin the storm into organized chaos. But the greatest difference between Jupiter's red spot and our storms may be Earth's solid surface. Once a hurricane hits land, it comes apart pretty fast.
Where they come over land or over mountains, their behavior is very different from where they form over the oceans and over warm oceans in particular, where we get hurricanes. And on Jupiter, there's obviously no solid surface.
With no land mass to stop it, the Great Red Spot just keeps on spinning and spinning and spinning. Scientists hope to learn more about our weather by continuing to study the storm.
On Earth, there's a limit to how far ahead you can predict the weather. On Jupiter, we can forecast where the red spot is going to be months in advance. It's practical value to understand what makes weather on Earth so unpredictable, and aspects of the weather on Jupiter are much more predictable.
Unpredictable or not, Earth's weather never gets as violent as on Jupiter. That's lucky for us, because if we shrank the Great Red Spot down to fit on Earth, we'd be in for disaster.
On the Earth, if you go to Category 5 hurricanes, nothing but a Category 10 hurricane here. Not much would be left.
Alien storms are vastly different everywhere you go in our solar system. Even our next-door neighbor, Venus. They say we're sister planets. Lucky the resemblance doesn't include weather. Otherwise, we'd get seriously burned. Venus may be our nearest neighbor, but somehow its weather is radically different from ours. The second planet from the Sun is a cross between a toxic waste dump and Death Valley, but even worse.
So it's almost a planetary definition of hell.
The temperature is 900 degrees Fahrenheit. The pressure on the surface is the same as half a mile below the Earth's ocean. And if that's not enough, the upper atmosphere of Venus is choked with sulfuric acid clouds and winds clocked at 250 miles an hour.
To get a comparison for Venus, the best thing to do is climb inside of your oven and crank it up. And then in terms of pressure, you're talking about deep sea diving. It's like nothing. There's nothing comparable on the Earth. It's just a very, very extreme object.
On Venus, there's just no escaping the heat.
If you built up a hot spot on Venus, the massive atmosphere would just carry that heat away and spread it around.
But Venus shines so brightly in the night sky because its thick clouds reflect almost all the sunlight it receives. In fact,
next time you bring me back a rat.
Assumed Venus would have moderate Earth-like temperatures.
When I went by Venus in 1962 with a spacecraft, we thought we would find a surface at 90 degrees Fahrenheit, sort of like Miami, Florida.
We were dead wrong. Something else must be at work on Venus. But what? So why doesn't Venus cool off the same way Earth does?
On the Earth, for example, we have sunlight coming in, hitting the surface of the Earth. Earth warms up a little bit, but the oxygen and the nitrogen in the atmosphere don't impede the light, so when it gets released out in the infrared, it goes right through the atmosphere and leaves and goes into space.
But on Venus, the atmosphere is 97% carbon dioxide, giving a whole new meaning to the greenhouse effect.
It becomes very, very hard for the surface to get its energy out.
So Venus really taught us a lesson, that if you have a blanketing gas, a greenhouse gas, it can warm up the atmosphere tremendously.
But why does Venus have so much more CO2 in its atmosphere than Earth? The two have much in common, They're even called sister planets. They're almost the same size, have roughly the same amount of carbon, and billions of years ago, both had lots of water. But eons ago, their paths mysteriously diverged. On Earth, water fostered life.
The Earth has most of its carbon in life forms, in the trees and the animals. But if you took all that carbon that's in the near-surface rocks and burned it up or released it, you would then create an atmosphere very much like Venus.
Venus's close proximity to the sun made it too hot to sustain liquid water. Instead, its water evaporated into the atmosphere, trapping the heat deposited by the sun and creating a runaway greenhouse effect. Once in the atmosphere, the water molecules were exposed to solar ultraviolet rays that broke the molecules apart.
It really wasn't recognized by the scientific community how important the greenhouse effect was prior to going by Venus. And
I'm on some scientific shit. Here's what it is.
It took several doomed missions to Venus to figure it out. Starting in the 1960s, both the United States and the Soviet Union sent unmanned probes past the planet and down to its surface. It didn't take long before Venus crushed and burned them. Then, in 1981, the Soviet lander Venera 13 set a record for survival on the surface of Venus. 2 hours and 7 minutes. It was able to take pictures and samples of the surface before being overcome by the heat.
You're sitting there with this 900 degrees Fahrenheit heat all around you. It's going to get in there and bake you after a while.
Scientists one day hope to send a probe to Venus.
This is live shit I found on YouTube. I'm just fucking around.
To help us confirm our theory of how this planet went astray. Because if circumstances were just a little different, our sister planet might just be our twin. Remove our atmospheric shield, and you're on the road to hell.
As soon as you heat up to something like 400 degrees or so.
Yeah, this is live.
You probably start getting some smoldering smoke, and way before it's 900 degrees, the Earth would burst into flames because all the oxygen went down.
Once the oceans boiled away, the carbon locked in rocks on the ocean floor would cook, and over millions of years re-enter the atmosphere.
Probably if you came back to the Earth system after this happened, you'd find a planet looking much like Venus.
We're a long ways away from such a drastic change, but it's sobering to look at Earth's sister planet when the sister planet went on a very different track than we did.
So cosmic forces...
I have no fucking clue what they're talking about here in the comment section, and I don't care.
This violent, stormy world, time and the elements have produced some of the strongest thunderstorms ever measured. Welcome to Saturn. Lightning cuts the sky. This violent weather system grows bigger than the entire United States as it pummels the atmosphere with the most powerful lightning ever seen. Except this lightning can't be seen. Because these bolts are electrifying the skies over Saturn. Despite the raw power of Saturn's lightning, scientists have been unable to see it. Partly because Saturn's rings are too bright.
The rings are so bright, if you were on the night side of Saturn, it would be considerably brighter than the Earth under a full moon.
But Saturn also hides its lightning within thick, choking clouds of ammonia.
It's probably 100 kilometers down that the lightning is happening.
I guess we in the motherfucking...
Seeing the lightning flashes.
Earth is in the perfect spot.
And scientists know it, because they've heard it. Radio wave detectors on the Cassini orbiter have recorded the sound of Saturn's lightning.
We can get a static of lightning, just as you could with an AM radio going down the highway on Earth.
And this static reveals the power of the lightning that we can't see.
You can measure the
I have no clue what these people are saying, but
the energy that your radio picks up when there's a thunderstorm around on Earth. And
we can't be the only living thing on this planet. No, fuck no, we're not the only living thing on this planet. Now, my thing is, we're not the only fucking living thing in this universe.
On Saturn. Within Earth's storm clouds, just like in Saturn's, updrafts drive moisture higher, causing ice to form. These ice crystals rub against each other, take on a positive charge, and become attracted to negatively charged water droplets.
There's definitely other forms of life out there.
This sets the stage for a potentially powerful discharge of energy.
Once you get that charge separation that builds up so intensely that some theorize that it can be as strong as 100 million volts, that the cloud then must release that energy.
On Saturn, the same thing happens on a much larger scale. In fact, the lightning is 100 times stronger than Earth's. That's a staggering 10 billion volts of electricity.
There ain't nothing else out there.
Thunderstorms in
now,
southern
whether they can reach us or not, who knows? But there's some other shit out there.
Scientists aren't sure what makes Saturn's storms bigger and longer lasting. It could be Saturn's supersaturated atmosphere.
Probably the fact that there's more water in the atmosphere, pound for pound, on Saturn makes the storms bigger.
More water droplets means more friction, which means bigger lightning bolts. The energy emerging from the planet may also contribute to the power of storms.
Yeah. It turns out that where Lightning Alley is on Saturn is a place where the winds are flowing the slowest. If you go deep down in the atmosphere, you see the same winds as you do.
It's probably other life in our own solar system, let alone the universe.
The upper atmosphere without being sheared apart, and allows the storm system to be organized.
Earth's atmosphere isn't built that way. So, as violent as our storms get, they're nothing compared to the systems on Saturn. Even a run-of-the-mill mega thunderstorm on Saturn would devastate us here.
A Saturn-sized thunderstorm on the Earth would mean a thunderstorm that grows to cover all of North America, and presumably has very strong winds and rain. This is something that's unprecedented on the Earth.
Saturn's hyper-violent thunderstorms are proof that our planetary neighbors have weather far more ferocious than ours. But the laws of physics that create Saturn's storms are the same laws that create our...
Shout out to you and the family and everybody.
Massive dust storms, unrelenting winds.
I'm fucking around with the fuck around.
Powerful hurricanes and searing heat.
Mars, the red planet, fourth rock from the sun. For centuries, we humans have gazed at our neighbor and imagined an alien world. And as human technology and telescopes.
But that was some live shit I found on YouTube just to fuck around. But you better believe there's some other shit out there that we don't know about. And that's on God. Because He created it. Like, all right, if you, I mean, just take our planet for example. There's like, all right, you got 7 billion people on here. You got like billions of other different life forms on this planet. Birds, animals, ants, roaches, this, that, and the third. It's a lot. You think that shit ain't happening somewhere else? You gotta be fucking kidding me. You think that out of all the shit planets that's floating around here, the Earth is the only one that developed life? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Our solar system only has like what? I mean, they got rid of Pluto, so we only got 9 planets. You think another solar system ain't got no planet that can sustain life? You gotta be kidding me. All the different life forms that's on this planet, you think it ain't happening somewhere else? Don't worry, I'll wait. I mean, you know, I like talking. I'll wait. See how y'all feel about it. Let's see who else is on right now. See, that's how it works. Excuse me. There's like 10 people streaming, and I'm one of them. Excuse me. Shit.
You mix that with a little bit of hydrogen, you can make that reaction produce either methane or carbon monoxide or any mixture of the two, and water.
The methane and carbon monoxide mixtures can be used as rocket propellants for the return trip to Earth.
The water, we could keep the water and drink it, or we can electrolyze it into hydrogen and oxygen. The oxygen that comes off, we could use as breathing oxygen, we could use as rocket-propelled oxygen. That's how the machine works. It makes your fuel, it makes your oxygen, it makes your water.
And leaves enough room on your spaceship for food. All in all, it looks simple enough, and it's not just theory. Working with simulated Martian air, Zubrin has spent years testing and refining the technology.
This is a subscale methane, carbon monoxide, oxygen rocket engine. It all works. It works great. These are great propellants. We start them right up with a spark plug time after time.
In a way, Zubrin has done all this to make a point. Current thinking is that it is too expensive and dangerous to send a manned mission to Mars. Instead, the international space community has deployed a range of unmanned robotic explorers on and around the planet. But Zubrin points out using robots to do field research leaves a lot to be desired.
Okay, we can send robots to Mars. And I support sending robots to Mars. I think we want to send a lot more robots to Mars. Okay, robots can make all kinds of discoveries. They can give us all kinds of data. They can image the surface of the planet and possibly identify interesting targets for exploration. But they won't tell us the answers that we need to know. They won't tell us if there's life on Mars.
So does Zubrin expect to find life on the red planet?
I think that a naturalistic view of the universe would suggest that the Earth is not special, and that if life can evolve here, it could evolve elsewhere where environmental conditions are similar. And if there's life there, we'll find it.
But perhaps there's an easier way to find out. The answer could already be here on Earth. Every year, hundreds, maybe thousands of aliens come to our planet. Most arrive quietly and go unnoticed. Others enter the atmosphere in a blaze of glory. These aliens are meteorites. For centuries, these rocks from the sky were treated as curiosities, often ending up in local museums or private collections. But the information meteorites contain is so valuable that today, the scientific community sends out search parties to gather them. Although meteorites fall randomly all over the Earth, one of the most popular hunting grounds is Antarctica. Every year, scores of scientists take their lives in their hands and head to the frozen continent. The teams conduct a systematic grid search of the icy landscape, looking for telltale dark shapes against the blue-white of the ice. It was on an expedition such as this that a meteorite was found that would shake the scientific community to the core. The team sent it to a special facility at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. Because this is where NASA keeps the aliens. 84001, or the Allen Hills meteorite. The strange green rod was kept under strict quarantine. It was processed, examined, and rigorously interrogated for information about its home world. It took 10 years, but investigators finally got the truth. This rock was from Mars, and it had a secret to tell.
Today, Rock 84001 speaks to us across all those billions of years and millions of miles. It speaks of the possibility of life.
So what was it the rock told us? We'll come back to that a little later. But perhaps the best evidence of life on Mars is not hidden deep in an alien rock. There are some who believe a vital clue is staring us right in the face. Richard Hoagland has dedicated his life to examining imagery transmitted to Earth from various Mars orbiters. Surveillance systems that have circled the red planet for over 30 years now.
Folks,
in the first pictures of the 1976 Viking orbiters sent back from the planet's surface, Hoagland saw something that blew his mind.
I looked at this and it was like, oh my God,
This thing had symmetry, it had proportion, it looked like a statue.
Hoagland is referring to this remarkable image. A face-like structure the size of multiple city blocks. And Hoagland thought he saw more. Other structures surrounding the icon, eroded by time. To him, it looked like the ruins of a monumental city.
It looked eerily like an aerial photograph taken flying over Giza, looking down at the pyramids on the Giza Plateau. It looked like a ceremonial complex built by somebody with a huge sphinx-like creature staring up into space from the sands of Mars at the telescope orbiting 1,000 miles overhead. Somebody was down there, and they cared enough to leave the very best.
Needless to say, Hoagland's theory raises more than a few eyebrows. But did life on Mars ever exist? Was there once an ancient civilization of alien life forms? And if so, where did they go? Believe it or not, the idea that Mars was occupied by a race of intelligent extraterrestrials was not the creation of science fiction, but science fact. In the early days of humankind, Mars burned faintly red in the night sky, leading some to equate it with a mighty god, naturally, the god of war. But then astrologers, using a new contraption called the telescope, determined that those lights in the sky might be planets, much like ours. This meant there might be other civilizations, other life forms out there. And Mars was about to become the star attraction. Thanks to Italian astronomer Giovanni Schiaparelli. In 1877, Schiaparelli trained his telescope on the Martian surface .
Now, this is what y'all got left to watch, because I'm gone. Y'all fucking have fun with this.